The story begins on a quiet night above Earth. The orbital scanners, which usually show empty space, suddenly start flashing. A huge metal container appears on the screen. It is drifting close to the planet, slow and silent. No one knows where it came from. No one knows who sent it. The technicians zoom in. There is no ID on the container, no radio signal, no heat signatures, nothing that shows life. Only one message blinks in bright red letters. Contaminated. Do not open. A cold wave moves through the control room. The container is massive, almost the size of a small building. Objects that size do not just appear near Earth. Someone must have placed it there. But why? Earth Security Force sends an urgent call to Commander Hale. He is the leader of a special investigation team. Hale is known for solving strange space cases, but even he has never seen something like this. Within minutes, his team suits up and launches toward the mysterious object. On Earth, panic begins to spread. News channels show the giant metal container floating above the planet. Reporters call it alien waste. Talk show hosts say it might be a weapon. Social media explodes with fear and rumors. Some people think it is a trap. Others believe it is a message from another world. But Commander Hale notices something different. The container is not falling toward Earth. Instead, it is slowing down, as if invisible hands gently pushed it into position. That's not natural, Hale whispers to his team. Someone wanted us to find this. When they reach the container, they feel uneasy. The metal surface is scratched and burned, like someone tried to destroy it with fire or weapons. But even after the damage, the container remains strong and locked. Hale signals his team to move closer. At first, everything is silent. But then, a soft knocking sound comes from inside. Tap, tap, tap. The team members look at each other. No one speaks. The knocking stops for a moment, and they think it was just their imagination. Then the knocking returns, faster this time. Tap, 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 tap. Commander Hale freezes in place. His heartbeat slows. His breath stops. Something alive is inside. The team quickly removes the outer layer of metal. Underneath, they find a thick glass shell. It is foggy and covered with dust. Hale wipes it with his glove and steps back in shock. Tiny handprints. Thousands of tiny handprints, covering the glass from the inside. Some hands look small like toddlers. Some look bigger, maybe children of 10 or 12. Hale feels a chill inside his bones. Who would put children inside a sealed container? And why label as contaminated? Suddenly, the bright red warning message flickers. The words change. Now it says, "Do not return to owner." The team stares at the words in confusion. This isn't a warning. This isn't a threat. This is a message for help. Someone wanted to make sure this container never returned to whoever owned it. Someone wanted these children to be found by Earth. Hale steps forward. "This is not waste," he says softly. "This is a rescue message." Earth Command gives permission to open the chamber completely. The team unlocks the final seal. Cold, icy air rushes out with a loud hiss. The temperature drops instantly. Then the lights inside the chamber turn on. Soft blue light. Thousands of tiny blue dots. As the fog clears, the truth becomes visible. 16,000 unconscious children floating in stasis pods. Some float peacefully. Some are curled up as if they were afraid. Some look like they were crying before they fell asleep. Hale feels anger boiling inside him. Who could do this to children? What kind of monster locks thousands of young ones inside a metal box and throws them towards another planet? He steps inside the chamber. The floating pods move gently around him. Everything is silent again. But then a small pod begins to shake. The glass opens with a soft click. A girl slowly lifts her head. She looks weak. Her skin is pale, and her eyes are filled with fear. She tries to speak, but no sound comes out at first. Commander Hale kneels beside her and gives her water. She takes a small sip. Her lips tremble. Finally, she whispers, "Please don't send us back." Her words hit Hale harder than any explosion. Back? Back to where? Back to who? The girl reaches for Hale's hand. "Please," she repeats. Don't let them take us again. Hale gently holds her hand. You are safe now, he says, though even he is not sure. The girl cries softly. They called us contaminated, she says. They said we were broken. Who said that? Hale asks, voice firm. She looks toward the dark space outside the container. Our owners, she whispers. The ones who made us. The team members stand in stunned silence. Owners? Made them? What does that mean? The girl looks around at the sleeping children in thousands of pods. They threw us away, she says. We were no longer useful, so they dumped us near your world. Hale feels a deep rage growing inside him. Someone created these children, used them, abused them, then dumped them like trash. The girl's voice breaks again. If they find us, they will take us back. Please don't let them. Commander Hale rises to his feet. He looks at his team. No one, he says quietly, is sending these children back. Not now. Not ever. And far away in space, something begins to move. Something large. Something returning to look for the lost cargo. Earth has no idea what is coming next. Commander Hale stood inside the giant chamber, surrounded by 16,000 sleeping children floating in their glass pods. The cold blue lights made everything look calm, but Hale knew nothing about this was calm. These children were scared, abandoned, and possibly hunted. The little girl who had awakened, Mira, sat quietly on a medical bed. She held a warm blanket around her shoulders. Her eyes moved nervously from one officer to another. She didn't trust anyone yet, except Hale. Hale spoke softly, trying not to scare her. Mira, do you know who put you in that container? She nodded slowly. The Vorix. The name meant nothing to the team, but the way she said it made everyone uneasy, like the word itself carried pain. Are they a species? Hale asked. Mira shook her head. They are makers. They create children like us. We are not born, we are designed. The room fell silent. Designed? Engineered children? What kind of civilization would do that? Mira continued, hugging herself. They grow us in tanks. Train us. Force us to serve them. We were made for their work, their wars, their ships. Her voice broke again. When we grow older, they test us. If we are weak or if something goes wrong, they call us contaminated. Hale clenched his jaw. He felt anger rising again. So they throw away the children who fail the tests? Mira nodded. A tear slipped down her cheek. We were the ones they didn't want. Hale gently placed a hand on her shoulder. You're safe now. They won't take you. But Mira didn't look convinced. She stared at the large metal window facing space. They always come back, she whispered. They don't like losing their property. The word property made every officer in the room sick. White medium star, more children begin to wake. Back inside the container, alarms suddenly beeped. Several stasis pods lit up with yellow warnings. A medical technician rushed forward. Commander! More children are waking. One pod opened with a soft hiss. A boy slowly floated out, eyes wide and confused. He gasped for air and held his head with both hands. Easy, Hale said, catching him gently. You're on Earth. You're safe. The boy stared at him in fear. Are you human? Yes. The boy's face softened with relief. Humans don't hurt children, right? Hale swallowed hard. Not these ones. Not ever. Another pod opened. Then another. Dozens of children started waking at once. Some cried. Some shook with fear. Some tried to hide inside their pods. The team worked fast, wrapping them in blankets, giving them water, whispering gentle words. But something strange happened. A group of older kids woke up together. 6 of them. They didn't cry. They didn't look scared. They looked alert, focused, like soldiers. One of them began scanning the room with sharp eyes. Hale noticed. You okay? He asked gently. The boy didn't answer. He just watched everyone in silence. Mira saw him and immediately pulled her blanket closer, terrified. Hale leaned down to her. Do you know him? Mira whispered. Yes, but he is not like us. What does that mean? He is one of the enhanced ones, the combat batch. Hale felt a cold shiver run down his spine. As more pods opened, the younger children gathered around Mira. They treated her like a big sister. She tried to comfort them with soft words. But the older combat batch children stayed separate. They watched everything, observing the humans, studying the environment. Their posture, their eyes, everything about them looked trained. Hale approached one of them. "My name is Commander Hale. We're here to help." The boy tilted his head. "Help." His voice was calm, too calm for a child. "Humans help the weak. We are not weak." "What are you then?" Hale asked. The boy's expression didn't change. "We are failures. That is why we were thrown away." Mira shook her head quickly. "No, we are not failures." The older boy finally looked at her. His expression softened slightly. "You were gentle batch, Mira. You were made to heal, not to fight. But the Vorks don't value gentle things." Mira looked down, trembling. Hale stepped between them. "Listen, I don't care what some alien species told you. None of you are failures. Not here." The older boy stared at Hale for a long moment. Then he said something chilling. "You don't understand. Human, they will come for us. And if they do, you cannot stop them." Meanwhile, one officer discovered strange markings on the inside walls of the container. Thousands of small carved symbols. Some looked like numbers. Some looked like warnings. Some looked like the children had carved messages into the walls with their bare hands. One sentence appeared again and again. "Don't send us back." Another sentence. "They hear everything." And one more, the most terrifying. "If older batch wakes, do not trust them." Hale felt the hairs on his neck rise. He looked toward the older children. They were talking quietly among themselves. Too quietly. Mira tugged Hale's sleeve. "Please, be careful with them," she whispered. "They are strong. They don't feel pain like we do. They don't feel fear either." Hale asked, "Were they dangerous?" Mira nodded. "To the Vorks, yes. That's why they erased their memories. That's why they threw them away, too." Hale frowned. "But why erase them?" Mira looked into his eyes, terrified, because the older batch started to remember things they were never supposed to know. As Hale processed everything, an alarm rang through the station. A communications officer rushed in, pale and shaking. "Commander, something just appeared on long-range scanners." Hale stood up instantly. "What is it?" The officer swallowed hard. "A ship, sir. Large. Very large. It's not transmitting any ID. And it's heading straight for Earth." Mira covered her mouth in fear. "They found us." The older combat batch children did not look afraid. In fact, they looked almost ready. Hale looked out into space. The Vorks were coming, and they wanted their contaminated cargo back. Commander Hale stood frozen for a moment, staring at the radar screen. The object approaching Earth was massive, bigger than any civilian ship, bigger than any human warship. It didn't broadcast a signal, didn't slow down, didn't follow any known space protocol. It simply moved with cold, steady purpose. Mira stood behind Hale, trembling. Her small hand gripped the edge of his uniform. "It's them," she whispered. "The Vorks, they came back." Hale turned to his team. "Raise planetary shields. Lock down the station. Keep the children inside secure rooms. Now!" The officers rushed to obey, but Hale saw panic in their eyes. The mysterious ship was too large, too quiet, too confident. It moved like a predator that already knew it had won. Meanwhile, inside the medical wing, the awakened children huddled together. Some cried softly. Some held on to Mira for comfort. But the older combat batch children stood calmly near the window, watching the distant ship approach like they expected it. One of them, the boy Hale had spoken earlier, finally spoke again. "They won't destroy Earth, Commander. They need the planet. But they will take the children back. All of us." Hale stepped toward him. "Not while I'm here." The boy didn't smile, didn't show emotion. "Your weapons will not work on them. Your shields will not stop them. The Vorks built technology far stronger than anything humans have. Then why did they throw you away?" Hale asked. The boy looked at the younger children. Because we started to question orders. Because we learned too fast. Because we grew too strong. They feared we would rebel. Mira shook her head. They feared us because we were alive. Before Hale could respond, the lights flickered. A deep rumble shook the entire station. The artificial gravity trembled for a moment. A voice crackled through the intercom. Commander, the Vorik ship just sent a signal. It's not a message, it's a command. A command to what? Hale asked. The officer's voice dropped. To the children. Only the children. Every child in the room stiffened at the same time. Even Mira froze. Their eyes went wide, pupils shrinking. Some held their heads and whimpered. The older combat batch children didn't scream or cry, but their bodies shook like they were fighting something inside their minds. Mira gasped. They're trying to activate us. Hale grabbed her shoulders. Activate how? She pointed to her head with shaking fingers. They placed something inside our minds. Codes, commands to make us obey if we ever tried to escape. The older boy grit his teeth. They are forcing us to respond. They want us to guide them. Mira covered her ears as a sharp, invisible pain hit her. They want us to open the way. Hale turned to the intercom. Cut all signals coming from that ship. We tried, the officer shouted. The signal is not radio, not electric. It's something else. It goes straight through our systems. The older combat batch children suddenly stood straighter. Their eyes looked strange, darker, emptier. Hale stepped between them and the younger children. What are you doing? He demanded. One of the older boys spoke in a calm, empty voice. We are receiving orders. We cannot block them. We were designed to obey these frequencies. Mira cried out, No! Fight it! Please! The boy's fist clenched, his voice filled with pain. I am trying. The station shook again, this time louder. The lights flickered off, then back on. The Vorik ship had stopped moving. It now hovered directly above Earth's orbit, silent, enormous, watching. Inside the chamber, several younger children collapsed, holding their heads and crying. Mira fell to her knees. They are telling us to open the docking gates, she said weakly. If they get inside, they will take us. All of us. Hale knelt beside her. Tell me how to stop it. She shook her head. We were never taught how to resist. They never expected us to. One of the older combat batch kids suddenly slammed his fist into the wall, leaving a dent. His breathing was heavy, strained. I can hold it back for now, he said. But if we fail, they will use us as tools again. Hale looked around the room, feeling helpless. These children weren't soldiers. They weren't criminals. They were victims who were built to obey monsters. A loud siren cut through the station. Commander Hale, the Vorik ship is charging something. Energy buildup is massive. Hale ran to the window. The alien ship glowed with a deep red light. Something was changing on its surface, opening, unfolding, preparing. Mira crawled beside him and stared at the ship. That is their calling beam, she whispered. Once it fires, every one of us will fall under their control. Hale's heart pounded. And if Earth blocks it? Mira shook her head. You can't block it. It goes through metal, through shields, through us. The older combat batch boy stepped forward. There's only one way to stop it. Hale looked at him. What way? The boy met Hale's eyes with a calmness that did not belong to a child. You must destroy us before the signal takes us completely. The room fell silent. Mira screamed, No, we can't, and clung to the older boy's arm. He gently placed a hand on her head. If we fall under their control, we will help them. We will become their tools again. And we will destroy everything here. Hale looked at the boy. I'm not killing children. The boy stepped closer, whispering, Then you must find another way, fast, because we only have minutes. Outside, the Vorik ship glowed brighter. The countdown had begun. Commander Hale refused to believe what he just heard. Destroy the children? That was impossible. He looked at the older combat batch boy, who stood calm but clearly fighting something inside his mind. The boy's eyes flickered between normal and dark, as if two forces were struggling for control. "Don't ask me to hurt you," Hale said firmly. The boy shook his head. "I am not asking. I am warning. If the Vorix signal grows stronger, we won't be ourselves anymore." Before Hale could answer, Mira screamed. She clutched her head as a fresh wave of invisible pressure hit all the children at once. Younger kids collapsed, crying. Some curled into balls. Others shook uncontrollably. The signal was getting stronger. The Vorix ship outside glowed with deep red lines, pulsing like a beating heart. Hale looked at the nearest officer. "Status of that ship?" The officer's voice was shaky. Energy buildup rising fast. "It's preparing to fire the control beam." "How long do we have?" Hale demanded. "Maybe 5 minutes, sir." Hale breathed sharply through his teeth. 5 minutes until 16,000 children became living tools for an alien empire. The older boy suddenly stiffened. His voice came out flat and empty. "The Vorix command is increasing. They want us to open all access gates." He took one step forward. Hale blocked him. The boy's neck tensed. "Move." Hale didn't, and to his surprise, the boy stopped moving. His body shook as he resisted the command. "I'm fighting, but I won't last long," he whispered, sweat rolling down his forehead. Mira crawled to his side and grabbed his arm. "Don't leave us. Please don't let them take you." Her voice, something in her voice, helped him. The darkness faded slightly from his eyes. "Stay close," he told her softly. "Your mind, it helps quiet the noise." Hale realized the gentle batch children were somehow stabilizing the combat batch ones. They weren't strong, but they had something else the Vorix underestimated. Emotional connection. But it wouldn't be enough. Suddenly, one of the younger children looked up at Hale, shaking. "We can help, but we need to link." "Link?" Hale asked. Mira nodded weakly. "All of us were made with a connection ability. When we join minds, we become stronger. But we've never tried with so many." Hale looked around the room at the trembling children. "Can it stop the signal?" "Maybe," Mira said, "if we connect before the control beam hits." "Do it," Hale said immediately. But the older combat batch boy shook his head. "Connecting is dangerous. If the Vorix take control during the link, they will control all of us at once." "And if we don't link?" Hale asked. "Then the beam will take everyone one by one." The boy replied. Hale made the decision. "We take the risk. You link." Mira turned to the children. "Everyone, hold hands. Touch someone. We need connection." The children obeyed through their fear. Some crawled. Some stumbled. Some reached for each other with shaking hands. Slowly, a giant circle of small hands formed. The older combat batch children hesitated. Mira reached toward the leader boy. "Please, you are part of us too." He stared at her hand, then took it. The moment their hands touched, a faint blue light spread across their skin. Soft, warm, alive. The link had begun. Outside, the Vorix ship released a low, rumbling sound. The red glow on its hull intensified. Something massive was unfolding beneath it. Like a giant flower of metal and energy. The control beam. Hale whispered, "Come on, kids, hurry." Inside the chamber, the blue light grew brighter. Children closed their eyes. Their breathing slowed. The link moved from one child to the next like a wave of soft energy. Myra's voice echoed in the circle, calm and gentle. "Breathe, stay together, hold the mind quiet." But the older combat batch children were shaking hard. The Vorix signal inside their heads fought back. The leader boy growled under his breath. "They're pushing. They want to break the link." Mira squeezed his hand tighter. "Stay with me." He winced. "I'm trying." The Vorix ship fired a small warning beam past the station. The red energy streak missed on purpose. It was a message. Surrender the children, or the next shot won't miss. Hale stood firm. "I don't negotiate with monsters." The control beam on the ship charged to full power. Inside the circle, the link reached its peak. Blue energy flowed across the room, like rippling water. Even the unconscious children began glowing faintly inside their pods. The station lights flickered as the energy level rose. Mira opened her eyes. They glowed with a soft blue light. Commander, we're ready. Hale nodded. Do it. The children tightened their hold on each other. A pulse of blue energy shot upward, straight into the ceiling, spreading through the station. The Vorix fired. A deep red beam of control energy slammed into the station like a silent storm. It passed through metal, through shields, through walls. And then it hit the children. Mira cried out. The older combat batch children fell to their knees. Their eyes turned black for a moment. Their bodies shook violently. The link began to break. No! Hale shouted. Mira screamed. Hold the circle. Don't let go. The blue light flickered. The red control beam grew stronger. The older boy's voice broke. They're inside my mind. Another child fell. Then another. The link was collapsing. Hale stepped forward and shouted with everything inside him. Fight them. You are not theirs. His voice echoed across the chamber. Something changed. Mira stood up. Blue light poured from her like a wave. We are not property, she cried. We choose our own path. The connection surged. The combat batch boy roared in pain, and his eyes snapped open, glowing bright blue. I am free. The link stabilized, then exploded in power. A massive blue shockwave burst out from the children, slamming outward with unstoppable force. It hit the Vorix control beam and shattered it. The red energy dissolved instantly. The Vorix ship flickered. Lights went dark on its hull. Systems shut down. The ship drifted, powerless. The children fell silent. Their blue glow faded. Mira collapsed into Hale's arms. We stopped them, she whispered weakly. Hale held her tightly. You did more than that. You just saved Earth. The victory felt real. But outside the window, the massive Vorix ship slowly began to move again. They were not defeated. This was only the beginning. The medical team stayed busy for hours, checking the children and preparing them for safe transport to Earth's main facility. Commander Hale stood near the cargo container, watching every small movement, every blinking screen, every breath the children took. But something kept troubling him. The container, it was too advanced, too perfect. The rescue message felt personal, not alien. Whoever sent the container didn't want thanks. They wanted the children to disappear into safety without leaving a trace. Dr. Lyra approached Hale with a worried face. Commander, we scanned the pods again, she said. Each pod is linked to the others. If one child dies, all pods will release a signal. Hale raised an eyebrow. A signal for what? Dr. Lyra swallowed. For retrieval. Before Hale could ask more, alarms flashed across the ship. Red lights filled the medical bay. Everyone froze. The ship AI repeated a warning. Unknown vessel approaching. High velocity. The team ran to the window screens. A giant black shape moved across space like a shadow swallowing stars. It had no lights, no sound, no markings. It wasn't there one moment, and the next, it was right behind them. Dr. Lyra whispered, That's not a ship, that's a hunter. The children in the stasis pods began to shake. Monitors flickered. Heart rate spiked. The little girl, Erin, grabbed Hale's arm and looked up at him. They found us, she whispered. The black vessel opened its front panels, revealing long mechanical arms that moved like living creatures. The arms reached toward the Earth ship, scanning, searching. Commander, the pilot shouted. They're trying to take control of our engines. Hale made a decision in one breath. Cut engines manually. Shut down all signals. Make us look dead. The crew moved fast. Lights went off. Systems powered down. The ship became dark and cold, drifting silently. Only emergency life support stayed active. The hunter vessel paused. Its scanning arms hovered just inches from their hull. The crew held their breath. No one moved. Then Erin suddenly leaned forward. She pressed her small hand against the glass and whispered something in a language no human understood. Her breath fogged the glass. The hunter arms froze. It was listening. Hale gently pulled her back. Aaron, what did you tell it? She looked scared, but her voice stayed steady. I told it the truth, she said, that we are not going back, that we would rather die than return. The hunter vessel's arms retracted slowly. It scanned the ship one final time, then drifted backward into the darkness of space. The moment it vanished, power rushed back into the Earth ship. Lights returned. Monitors stabilized. The crew collapsed into their seats, shaking with relief. Dr. Lyra let out a long breath. It left us. But Hale wasn't comforted. He stared at the empty space where the hunter vanished. No, he said. It didn't leave. It marked us. It knows we have the children. Aaron walked to his side. She held Hale's sleeve gently. They will keep searching, she whispered. But you saved us today. Hale nodded, though worry filled his eyes. Not just today, he said. We're going to protect all of you, no matter what comes. For the first time, Aaron smiled faintly. The children slept silently in their pods. The threat had vanished for now. Earth waited below, unaware of the secret that was heading toward it. But Hale knew something important. This was not the end. It was only the beginning. The journey back to Earth should have been calm, but every person on the ship felt the same fear. The hunter vessel would return. Commander Hale ordered the crew to stay alert. No one slept. No one relaxed. The children were safer now, but their fate depended on what waited for them on Earth. As the ship entered Earth's upper atmosphere, communication finally returned. Control stations immediately began sending messages. Commander Hale, report status. Why is your ship dark? Why are biological readings so high? Hale ignored every question. He sent only one message. Prepare full lockdown. Cargo is sensitive. When the ship landed, hundreds of guards surrounded the area. Scientists, medics, and officers rushed toward the sealed cargo section. They had no idea what was inside. The doors opened slowly, releasing a wave of cold air. Gasps filled the landing bay. Thousands of pods. Thousands of children. Floating, breathing, alive. The officers stood frozen. Dr. Lyra stepped forward. These children were not born on Earth, she said softly. But they are here now, and they need protection. The Earth Council quickly took control. The children were moved into a secure underground facility deeper than any bunker. Only trusted personnel were allowed near them. Aaron stayed close to Hale as they walked through the long metal hallway. Every step echoed. Every door locked behind them. Hale noticed something strange. Whenever Aaron passed a scanner or security light, the machines flickered, almost as if they recognized her. They reached the main chamber where thousands of pods were arranged in perfect circles. Scientists whispered nervously. One scientist approached Hale. Commander, the pods are linked to a network we don't understand, she said. These children share one thing in common. Hale frowned. What thing? The scientist showed him a hologram of a symbol found on every pod. A small circle, with 3 lines coming out like rays. We think this is a mark of their creators or owners. Aaron looked at the symbol and instantly stepped back in fear. Hale noticed. You know what it means, don't you? Aaron nodded slowly. It means we belong to them, she whispered. We are property. Her words chilled Hale's blood. Before he could respond, every screen in the chamber suddenly went black. Every monitor, every camera, every light. A deep humming sound filled the facility. Scientists panicked. Soldiers raised weapons. Dr. Lyra ran toward the control panel. Something is hacking the system, she shouted. Then the humming stopped. A single white symbol appeared on every screen, the same circle with 3 rays. A voice followed. It wasn't human. It wasn't mechanical. It sounded like something in between. Return our assets. Everyone froze. The voice continued. You have something that does not belong to you. Release the children, or your planet will be reprocessed. Hale felt his heart drop. Reprocessed? Dr. Lyra whispered. What does that even mean? Aaron stepped forward slowly. She looked at the screens with sad eyes. It means they will burn your world, she said, and rebuild it from the ashes. Silence filled the chamber. Hale clenched his fists. "They won't touch Earth," he said firmly. But Erin shook her head. "You don't understand," she whispered. "They always come back. They will never stop. We escaped one hunter vessel." She looked up at him with fear. "But thousands more are coming." The screens flickered again, showing a distant star field, then dozens of shadows moving through space. They were heading toward Earth. The voice returned one last time. "Return what is ours or be removed." The screens went dark. The room stayed silent. Hale finally spoke. "This is no longer a rescue mission." He looked at Erin. "It's a war." Commander Hale stood in the main chamber, surrounded by hundreds of glowing pods. Every child's heartbeat echoed in his mind. Outside, Earth was peaceful, but Hale knew the calm was temporary. The Vorks were coming back, and this time they would not be gentle. Erin clutched his sleeve. Her small blue eyes were wide, reflecting fear and determination. "They'll come in numbers," she whispered. "Much bigger than before." Hale nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility crushing him. "Then we prepare," he said. "No one has taken them back. Not a single child." The older combat batch children moved silently to the front. Their eyes glowed faintly, still connected to each other and to the younger batch. The blue light pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat, growing stronger as they held hands. Hale realized the connection wasn't just a tool, it was a weapon. They can stop the Vorks, Hale thought, if we use them right. Mira stepped forward and spoke to all the children. "We survived once together. We can do it again. But we must trust each other." The younger children nodded nervously. Even Erin's hand shook slightly as she reached for Mira. Hale watched as the link formed again, stronger and more controlled this time. Blue light spread across the room like a living wave, touching every pod, every child, every mind. Far in space, the Vorks fleet appeared on the radar. Not one ship, dozens. Hundreds. Massive warships moved in formation, black and angular, glowing faintly with red energy. Hale's stomach turned. The sheer size of the fleet made him realize Earth could be destroyed if they were careless. "They're coming straight for us," the pilot said. "No evasive maneuvers will work." Hale's eyes narrowed. "Then we make them regret it." The combat batch children focused. The blue energy in their hands surged higher. Hale felt the ship hum with the power of the children's connection. It was almost alive. Mira closed her eyes. "We are not property," she shouted. Her voice carried across the minds of every linked child. "We are free. We choose our path." Outside, the Vorks fleet slowed. Something unusual was happening. The lead ship flickered, then paused. The pilot shouted. Radar showed interference. The children's blue energy was reaching beyond the station, into space. Hale realized something incredible. The children weren't just resisting the Vorks. They were controlling the energy around them. The blue light extended outward, wrapping the approaching ships in a web of soft, glowing power. The Vorks tried to fire, but their weapons misfired. Red energy beams broke apart midair. Ships collided as the energy disrupted their systems. Hale's jaw tightened. "Keep the link steady. Don't stop now." But Mira gasped. The strain was enormous. Sweat rolled down her forehead. "I can't keep it," she whispered. Her body shook violently. The combat batch boy stepped forward. "We will hold it for her," he said firmly. His hands glowed brighter than ever. The blue light from his mind joined with the others, stabilizing the link. Suddenly, the Vorks flagship lit up like a storm. A massive pulse of red energy shot toward the station, stronger than anything before. Hale knew it would crush everything if it hit. "Everyone, hold on," he shouted. The children's blue light flared. The pulse collided with it, and for a moment, Hale thought the station would explode. Then silence. The Vorks flagship shuddered. Lights went out across the ship. One by one, their weapons stopped firing. The pulse of blue energy from the children was too strong. The Vorks were forced to retreat. At least for now. Hale collapsed into a chair, exhausted but relieved. Mira sank to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Erin hugged her small sister tightly. But Hale knew it was temporary. The Vorks were not defeated. They would return, stronger, faster, and with more ships. He looked at the combat batch children. "You did it," he said quietly. "You saved Earth. But this is far from over." The older boy's eyes glowed faintly. "We can fight, but we must prepare. They will come for more than us next time." Mira wiped her tears and stood tall. "Then we'll be ready," she said. "Together." Hale nodded. He looked out at the stars, knowing the future of Earth, and these children was now tied together. The Vorix fleet disappeared beyond the dark edge of space. The immediate threat was gone, but Hale's mind raced. They were out there, watching, waiting, and next time they would not hesitate. The screen in the control room flickered, showing a small symbol, one the children recognized immediately, the circle with 3 rays. Erin whispered, her voice trembling. "They know where we are." Hale clenched his fists. "Then we'll make sure when they return, they find not children to take, but warriors ready to fight." And above Earth, in the quiet of the stars, the children looked at each other. They were no longer just victims. They were survivors, and they were ready to defend their new home at any cost. The war was only beginning. Earth was quiet that night, but Commander Hale knew it was only an illusion. Every sensor, every monitor, every instrument told him the same thing. The Vorix had not given up. They were out there, moving through the dark reaches of space, plotting their return. The children were finally resting. The younger batch slept inside secure pods, while the older combat batch children stood in the main chamber, eyes glowing faintly as they monitored the stars. The connection between them still hummed softly, a quiet blue pulse that filled the room. Hale walked slowly between the pods, checking on each child. Mira sat at the edge of the room, quietly humming to calm a few restless younger ones. Even in rest, there was tension in her posture. She hadn't let go of the responsibility she carried. Suddenly, the station's alarms rang out, not red, not yellow, but a new, deep vibration that made the walls shake slightly. Hale grabbed the railing, steadying himself. The children stirred, panic flashing in their eyes. "What is it?" Hale shouted. The communication officer's voice trembled. "Commander, we're detecting a fleet. Not the same as before, larger and faster. They're moving directly toward Earth." The combat batch boy, standing in the corner, clenched his fists. "It is the Vorix strike fleet, the ones who remain loyal to their empire." His voice was calm, but the tension in his body betrayed him. "This time they come for everything." Hale's jaw tightened. "Give me full sensor scan. Weapons status ready. Shields to maximum. Everyone prepare for battle." Mira approached Hale, her small hands trembling. "Commander, there's more. Some of the children have new abilities. They are changing faster than we expected. Some can sense the Vorix ships before they appear." Hale nodded slowly. "Then we'll use that. Alert all stations. Focus on defensive positions." The younger children were moved to a deeper bunker for safety, while the older combat batch and a few gentle batch children stayed on the upper levels, connected through their mind link. The blue pulse grew stronger as they synchronized, their shared consciousness forming a network that extended beyond the station. Outside, the Vorix fleet entered Earth's orbit. Dozens of ships, sleek and black, moved like a living organism. Sensors showed weapons charging, energy beams and pulse cannons aligned toward the planet. Hale watched the holographic projection. "We can't let them reach Earth," he said. "We fight here or the planet is lost." The combat batch boys stepped forward. "We can delay them, but we cannot destroy all ships alone. We need strategy." Hale considered quickly. "We'll split them up. Some children will disrupt the fleet. Others will protect the station. I'll coordinate with Earth Command to mobilize satellites and orbital defense systems." Mira took a deep breath. "And the rest of us?" she asked. "The children in the pods?" Hale knelt. "They are our secret weapon. The moment the Vorix try to capture the station, the link will activate fully. It will give us the edge we need." The blue glow in the room intensified. The older combat batch children took position, eyes closed, minds connected. Hale could see the strain on them. Their concentration was immense. Then, from the dark horizon of space, the lead Vorix ship emitted a pulse. The control beam they had fired before, destroyed, was now upgraded. It aimed directly at the station. Hale shouted over the alarms, "Brace for impact!" The children's blue light flared. A protective bubble formed around the station, deflecting the pulse. Sparks and energy waves danced along the hull. The station trembled, but it held. Hale knew it was only the beginning. This battle would not be easy. The Vorix had learned from their last defeat. They were returning stronger, smarter, and more determined. Mira looked at Hale. "Commander, they are testing us. Waiting for a mistake." Hale's face hardened. "Then we don't make mistakes. Every move counts. Every child counts. Earth is counting on us." The combat batch boys' eyes glowed fiercely. "We are ready. Let them come." Hale nodded. "Then we show them what it means to challenge us. This is our home, and we will not let it fall." Outside, the Vorix fleet advanced. The station's defenses glowed, and the children's blue light pulsed like a heartbeat across space. Hale clenched his fists, knowing that the war for Earth's future had truly begun, and nothing would ever be the same again.